There comes a point in every life when the weight of control becomes too heavy to carry. We cling to plans, to people, to outcomes, believing that if we just try harder, everything will bend to our will. Yet deep down we know this is an illusion. Carl Jung once reminded us that what we resist persists. The more we fight against the natural flow of life, the more trapped we become in patterns of struggle. But the moment we surrender, the moment we allow the universe to move through us instead of against us, something extraordinary happens. Doors begin to open, synchronicities appear, and what once felt impossible begins to unfold with ease. This is not chance, it is alignment. And you will only see it when it is time to let the universe take over. The power of surrender is not weakness, it is the greatest strength a human being can ever discover. Most of us live under the illusion that control is safety. We cling to our plans, our timelines, our desires, believing that if we tighten our grip hard enough, the world will bend to our will. Yet what do we find when we live this way? Anxiety, exhaustion, disappointment. Life does not yield to force. The more we push, the more resistance we encounter. The more we demand, the further what we seek seems to slip away. It is in this struggle that many of us spend years, even decades, until something finally breaks us open. Surrender is not about giving up. It is about giving over. It is the realization that you were never meant to carry the weight of the entire universe on your shoulders. You are part of that universe, and it has its own intelligence, its own rhythm, its own way of guiding you toward what belongs to you. When you insist on controlling everything, you interfere with that rhythm. But when you surrender, you step into alignment with it. Life begins to flow again, as naturally as water finds its path to the ocean. Think of the times when you tried to force something to happen. Maybe you held on to a relationship long after it had drained your soul. Maybe you clung to a job or a dream that no longer resonated with who you were becoming. You fought for it, begged for it, gave every ounce of your energy to it, and yet it slipped away anyway. At the time, it felt like a loss. But looking back, can you not see how life was protecting you, redirecting you, even saving you? The things you lost were never truly yours. They were only placeholders, preparing you for what was waiting beyond your resistance. To surrender is to trust that there is meaning even in what you cannot yet see. You will notice that when you finally release your grip, when you whisper to life, "I no longer need to control this," something profound shifts. Opportunities appear that you could not have planned. People show up at the exact moment you need them. Circumstances align in ways far beyond your limited understanding. This is not accident. This is the universe responding to your openness. You no longer stand in its way. There is also a kind of quiet dignity in surrender. Control is loud, desperate, restless. Surrender is calm, patient, steady. When you are surrendered, you no longer beg life to go your way. You allow life to reveal its way. And in that allowing, you find peace. Suddenly, the weight on your chest lifts. The constant inner war between what is and what should be dissolves. You can finally breathe, finally see, finally feel the depth of being alive in this present moment. But understand, this surrender does not mean passivity. It is not sitting back with folded arms waiting for life to hand you miracles. It is doing your part, but without fear, without desperation, without the need to manipulate every outcome. It is planting the seed, watering it faithfully, and then stepping back, trusting that nature will do what nature always does, grow life out of the soil. If you dig into the earth every day demanding to see progress, you will only destroy the seed. But if you trust, if you wait, the seed will rise at its appointed time. There is immense freedom in this way of living. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. You stop exhausting yourself by trying to bend reality to your timeline. You start noticing the signs life leaves for you. Subtle nudges, coincidences that aren't coincidences at all, moments of clarity that arrive in stillness. You see that the universe has always been whispering to you, always guiding you. But your need for control kept you deaf to its voice. So the real courage is not in holding on. It is in letting go. It is in opening your clenched fist and realizing that life places more in open hands than it ever will in closed ones. And when you reach this point of surrender, something inside you softens. The storms of life no longer drown you, they cleanse you. The losses no longer shatter you, they shape you. The unknown no longer terrifies you. It excites you, because you finally understand that you are not separate from this vast intelligence, you are an expression of it. And when you align with it, you do not need to chase, you only need to allow. The moment you surrender, the universe takes over. There are moments in life that seem too perfectly timed to be random. You think of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and suddenly they call. You stumble upon a book that answers the very question you've been carrying in silence. You miss a train, only to discover later that it saved you from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Most dismiss these things as coincidence, but those who are awake know better. These are not accidents. These are messages, signposts, the quiet language through which the universe speaks to you. When you are living only from the mind, you brush these signs aside. You tell yourself it is chance, probability, or meaningless pattern. But deep down, in the quiet spaces of the soul, you sense there is more. The universe does not waste its energy on meaningless repetition. It communicates with precision, and when you begin to pay attention, you realize that nothing in your life has ever been random. These moments of synchronicity appear most clearly when you are at a threshold. When you stand at the edge of change, unsure of which way to go, life sends signals. They arrive as whispers first, gentle nudges. But if you ignore them, they grow louder. The wrong path becomes heavier. The right path begins to shine with increasing clarity. Pay attention to the whispers before they turn into storms. The universe is always guiding, but it is up to you to listen. Think of a time when you were struggling, unsure of your next step. Perhaps you were lost in heartbreak or burdened by doubt about your future. And then, out of nowhere, a conversation, a stranger's words, a song on the radio, or a simple symbol appeared before you, giving you exactly what you needed. Was that really chance? Or was it life itself, bending to meet you in your need? The closer you look, the more you realize that synchronicities are evidence of a deeper order, a hidden structure connecting you to everything else. The mistake we often make is dismissing them because they don't fit into the logic we've been taught. We want proof, we want certainty, we want something we can measure. But the language of the soul is not measured in numbers, it is felt in resonance. A synchronicity is not there to convince your mind, it is there to awaken your awareness. It is life's way of saying, you are not alone, you are not wandering aimlessly. You are exactly where you need to be. Once you begin to trust these signs, you enter into a new way of living. Life stops feeling like a series of random events and begins to reveal itself as a conversation. You walk into the right rooms at the right time. You meet people who carry pieces of your journey. You notice repeating numbers, patterns, or symbols that align with your inner state. You are no longer asleep to the mystery. You are awake within it. There is also a responsibility that comes with this awareness. When synchronicities appear, they are invitations. They are not meant to entertain you, they are meant to guide you. If you notice them but refuse to act, you remain stuck. The universe can open the door, but you must walk through it. It will not drag you forward, it will simply reveal the path. The choice remains yours. And yet, the more you follow these signs, the more life supports you. You stop doubting so much. You stop forcing outcomes. You learn to wait and watch, to listen, to feel the subtle pull that moves you in the right direction. Even setbacks begin to make sense, because you see how they redirect you into greater alignment. You begin to realize that everything you have been through, every detour, every heartbreak, every delay, was leading you right here to this moment of recognition. Imagine how light life becomes when you live with this awareness. You no longer carry the burden of believing you must figure everything out alone. You understand that life itself is collaborating with you. It is speaking in symbols, orchestrating encounters, arranging circumstances. It is not against you. It is for you, but it speaks in a language beyond words. So when the same symbol appears again and again, when the same number follows you, when the right message arrives at the exact moment you need it, do not dismiss it. Smile instead. Recognize it for what it is, the universe reminding you that it has not abandoned you, that you are not lost, that you are being guided. The moment you begin to see synchronicities as messages, life changes. You are no longer wandering through chaos, you are being led through meaning. The greatest struggle within the human being is not against the outside world, but within the self. There is a voice that insists on control, the voice that demands recognition, certainty, and power. That voice is the ego. It wants to dictate the direction of your life, to hold on to every plan, to ensure that nothing unexpected threatens its sense of identity. But there is another voice, quieter, deeper, often drowned out by the noise of the ego. It is the voice of the higher self. While the ego clings, the higher self invites you to trust. While the ego fears, the higher self knows. And your journey is the constant choice between these two voices. The ego believes that safety lies in control. It calculates, it compares, it worries endlessly about how you are seen, about whether you are succeeding quickly enough, about whether you measure up to others. It is never satisfied, because its foundation is fear. Even in moments of achievement, the ego whispers that it is not enough. This is why so many live restless lives, even when surrounded by what others would call success. The ego feeds on control, and yet the more it tries to control, the more it suffers. The higher self operates differently. It does not cling to appearances, nor does it need to prove anything. It is not concerned with winning every battle, because it knows life is larger than every battle. The higher self speaks in calm assurance, reminding you that your worth is not measured by outcomes, but by alignment. It whispers to you in dreams, in intuition, in the subtle knowing that cannot be explained, but can always be felt. While the ego rushes, the higher self waits. While the ego doubts, the higher self trusts. Consider how much of your suffering has come from listening to the ego. It told you to hold on to relationships that were destroying you, because it feared loneliness. It told you to pursue paths that drained you, because it wanted recognition. It told you to compare yourself endlessly, leaving you exhausted and resentful. And yet, when you ignored that voice, even for a moment, you felt relief. You felt free. Because freedom does not come from satisfying the ego, it comes from surrendering to the higher self. The choice between these two is not always dramatic. It is made in the smallest of decisions. When you choose peace over the need to win an argument, you are listening to the higher self. When you choose patience over the desperate rush for results, you are aligning with the higher self. When you release the need to control how others see you, and instead choose authenticity.
There comes a moment in every life when the struggle to control becomes heavier than the burden itself. We plan, we force, we resist, but the psyche knows when it is time to release. The universe does not speak in words, but in patterns. It whispers through synchronicity, through symbols, through the strange timing of events that appear almost too perfect to be coincidence. When it is time to let go, you will feel the resistance crumble within you. The path you once tried to shape will dissolve, and in its place, another direction will quietly reveal itself. This is not chaos. It is order beyond your understanding. Many fear surrender, believing it to be defeat. But in truth, surrender is alignment with the deeper rhythm of existence. The unconscious carries knowledge far greater than our conscious mind can hold. When you release control, you allow that hidden wisdom to guide your steps. You will know the moment has come when peace arrives unexpectedly. When you no longer push, yet progress unfolds. When coincidences multiply, pointing the way forward. To let the universe take over is not to abandon responsibility, but to accept that you are part of something vast, something infinite. Trust is the bridge. Faith is the key. And when you see the signs, you will understand life was never against you. It was always leading you home.